I did a TV pilot called Renegades. It was all this slang that we didn't understand. And we were just like, what is this? I never heard this word before. And we went over to the director because we didn't even know how to say the line because we didn't know what the word was. And he didn't know. And we called the writer to ask what it meant. And he said he just made it up. When Robert Townsend and I decided to do Hollywood Shuffle, ignorance was our greatest asset. We didn't know we weren't supposed to be able to make a movie without money, without experienced people, without permits. I mean, we had a van, and we'd put all the equipment in the van, and we'd have somebody stand on the corner and look out for the police, and we would film, and if they whistled, we'd throw all the stuff in the van and take off and come back 15 minutes later. One of the first ideas that Robert and I had was a parody of horror films, and the idea was to take black people and put them in a horror movie and see how they react to these killers versus a white audience. Black audiences always laughed at white people in horror movies because they did the exact opposite of what we would do. I just saw something on the internet that is just so typical. It's at a high school. These two young white kids are pulling pranks on the students. So one guy's in the trash can and the other one's interviewing somebody about Halloween. And then the guy pops up out of the trash can behind him with this little costume on and scares them. And they're getting a good laugh. And they call this one young brother over and they talking to the black guy. And the guy jumps up out the trash can and it was just reaction. The brother just turned up, bop, and like hit the dude. And the dude just drops back down in the trash can and the lid closes. And the brother was like, oh man, damn, dog, I'm sorry. But it was just his programming was completely different. It was like how we react to fear and those kind of situations is going to be completely different. And that's why we always go to horror movies and laugh at the white people who, when they hear the noise, start going, John, is that you? It's like, because that's the opposite of what we would do. I'ma Get You Sucker was initially only released in 5 cities, and none of them were New York or LA. But there was a starving market. People came because they had not seen themselves, and that's what the conditions at that time was. It was just a vacancy of anything out there for you in terms of entertainment. Journalists would ask me about negative stereotypes and do I think that I'm confirming for white people what the ideas of black people? I said, this is a comedy. I said, this is like Airplane. I said, I grew up watching the Three Stooges and I never thought, wow, white people are crazy. When I was doing it in Living Color, it wasn't about doing a black show. I wanted to do a show that was really about everybody. Everybody that Hollywood didn't know what to do with, I knew what to do with. My comedy education wasn't just Richard Pryor and Red Fox and Moms Mabley and people like that, but it was also Monty Python and it was Cheech and Chong. I was in my 3rd year of college at Tuskegee Institute and was studying to be an engineer, and I'm gonna drop out to become a stand-up comedian. I had the conversation with my father. He said, son, you should finish school. He said, you should get the degree just so you have something to fall back on. And I said to him, I said, I understand that, Pop. I said, but I see it like this. If I have a cushion that I know I can fall on, I'll allow myself to fall. I said, but if I know there's nothing but hard concrete, I'm gonna do my best to stay standing.